Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video, well, I'm continuing my look at classic Doctor Who, the third and the fourth Doctors, the Golden Age, and this is Destiny of the Daleks from 1979. This is a fourth Doctor story, and this is the 17th season, the first story from the 17th season. Previously, we had the Armageddon Factor, which concluded the Key to Time series. And the next one will be City of Death, which is very well thought of. That's the next one. Anyhow, this was transmitted on the 1st of September through to the 22nd of September 1979. And it's written, of course, by Terry Nation. Yes, he's back doing Dalek stories now. And this, of course, follows, in terms of Tom Baker, the classic Genesis of the Daleks. And this follows on from that. Sorry, a bit later in the timeline. But this is great to see the Daleks back. But, and I think this is important, Tom Baker, in his 7 years as the Doctor, only had 2 Dalek stories. There's a feeling often now that they're overused, and they certainly weren't in this era. Anyhow, okay. So, as I say, it's written by Terry Nation, who amazing success with the Survivors TV series, Blake 7, of course, the TV series. Such a great contributor in terms of sci-fi writing. This is great. And of course, creating the Daleks. Yes, amazing. Now, it's directed by Ken Grieve, who only directed this episode in terms of Doctor Who. He was predominantly a TV and series and TV films. I think most noted in Coronation Street. He did it from 1974 to 1983 as a director of various episodes from that period, which is a very popular soap. Script editor is Douglas Adams. Yes, Douglas Adams. Now, here he is doing the script editor's role. Though some people, I think, argue he's really much more suited to writing his stories using his free imagination rather than perhaps the discipline of a script editor. But there we are. That's how it is. And of course, it's produced by Graham Williams, who's now well into the job, who has really moved the production away from more darker stories, and there's a lot more humor, and that's one of the characteristics of this era. Yeah, you could see it. It's all very clear. The music is by, as usual, Dudley Simpson. And the locations are interesting on this. We have Winspit Quarry, which is near Worth Matavers in the Isle of Purlech in Dorset. And to the west and east of this are the hills of West Man and East Man. It's a great location, and they did a lot of location on this to create the planet Scarrow, which is great. It looks good as usual. When you have the locations, they do an amazing job, the directors, with this. Absolutely fantastic. So let's get into the cast. We've got Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor. And then we've got Lala Ward as Romana. And this is her first full story as Romana. because she has regenerated from the other one, the Mary Tam one, and so this is her first story in terms of that. Then we've got Roy Skelton, who's doing the Dalek voices. He did a lot of voices for Doctor Who, like the Cybermen as well. Great voice actor. Then we've got David Goddison, who plays Davros. Now we got he's the first time playing Davros in this. And this was his only Doctor Who appearance. He appeared in lots of TV series and TV films. Then we've got Peter Straker, who plays Commander Sharel. Now, he was an actor, singer, and he was, in fact, a close friend of Freddie Mercury, who helped him get his EMI record contract. Great. I just thought I'd throw that in. He's known a lot in terms of musicals, the theatre, and TV series and TV films. Great career there. Then we've got another person you might recognise in some areas. It's Suzanne Danielle, who plays Agella. She was in Carry On, Emmanuel, the notorious film right near the end, 1978. Not considered in a good light, but she was in that. She was in The Golden Lady, 1979. She was in Flash Gordon, 1980. The Boys in Blue, 1982, which was a Cannon and Ball film. She was in The Trouble with Spies, 1987, and made a lot of TV appearances in TV series and TV films. Then we've got Tony Ozoba, who plays Lan. Now, Doctor Who appearances are Dragonfire, 1987, which is Sylvester McCoy's story, which I think is in the first season. And then we've got Kill the Moon, 2014, which sadly is not considered a great story, and I can see why it's perhaps one of the worst Doctor Who stories, again, though certainly in the modern Who, with the last Doctor, it's taken a lot to beat that. But it's up there is a real bad story, definitely. And Tony Ozoboa was in a lot of TV series and TV films. So that is the cast. So you're saying, Bayek, what's the story about, lad? Right. Well, it's set on the planet Scarrow after the events of Genesis of the Daleks. And the Daleks arrive and find their creator in suspended animation, Davros, of course. And they're seeking his help and guidance because they are in a war with Mavellans, this race called Mavellans, who are actually robots themselves. They have a humanoid look about them. They look human, but they're robots. And they're in a stalemate war with them, and they're hoping that Davros can bring victory for them. And this, of course, is it progressed really well, and we get the Doctor and Romana, the newly regenerated Romana, all involved in all the sort of action going on as the story unfolds. And yes, that's sort of the outline of the story. In a way, it's also, I think it's putting in a big thing about saying when you've got a stalemate like this, it's because they're two programmed machines and computers. Whereas if you put a variant in there, something which is not the logical side, you're going to get more chance of winning because the other side won't predict it because they're working on this the logical predictions. And it's a very interesting idea about perpetual war and machines involved and why nobody's winning. That's the outlook of it, anyhow. And it's a good story, I think. But I wouldn't say it was one that you get really excited about as much. I think so. I think there's a few factors involved in this. I think Genesis of the Daleks, which was the last Dalek story, it was such a classic story. It was always going to be difficult to follow it up. And it's good to see Davros, but even Davros doesn't seem quite as good. It's a different actor as well. As we saw in the first, in Genesis of the Daleks. You're kind of a bit disappointed in it because Genesis of the Daleks was so good. It's, it is a good story. It's still got all the elements, but you just feel it's not quite there. As it's not on the level of a great, even a great Dalek story. It's just okay. It's okay. And I suppose that's one of the important things when you look at it is it's the Daleks back, and they're being used. We haven't seen them for a while, so it's good to see them back, and they're used in a sparing way. But it's a big disappointment in that sense. If you was expecting how good Genesis of the Daleks was, this you're not going to get, which is a bit of a letdown. But it's one that I think that's reflected in a lot of people's opinions about this story. It did have a mixed reaction that got high viewing figures because there was a strike on the ITV going on. It meant more people then were watching Doctor Who. In that terms, it would be seen as a positive thing. Also, I think the way they treated, Romana's regeneration, it was a joke, but did it really work? No, I don't know. I'm not so sure whether that really worked. And I think that's one of things like that just add to a sort of mixed reaction to this. But it is a good story, and what it's saying about the stalemate is a very interesting concept and idea to look at. And as usual, you complain at all the way it looks and the locations, everything in terms of that, but it just doesn't quite feel it's quite hit the mark, I think. Potentially add more. But as I say, it was always going to be a struggle, because if you think, Davros, Genesis and Daleks, and then we've got this, doesn't quite seem quite as good, which is a shame, really. But there we are. Now, this was released on VHS in 1994. It got a DVD release in 2007. And then in 2021, the Blu-ray release on Doctor Who The Collection, Season 17, which is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. So before I go, I'll show you what I've got here, of course. I've got, firstly, there is the DVD. As I say, I love my DVD collection. These are such a wonderful collection they were. And they're still good on there. They upscale really good. There's plenty of extras on here. Documentary is wonderful. There's the one disc, and you get the normal leaflet that you get with them, which is full of wonderful bits of information on there. And then, of course, I've got, yes, there it is, Season 17. These wonderful, I absolutely love this Doctor Who collection. There's the back with more, and lots more extras as well. on here. Just it's just you're spoiled. You're spoiled for extras, with documentaries and everything. And wow, this is wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't got it, you probably may now only be able to get the just a standard Blu-ray release. But hey, why not? That's still just as good. It's good to have. All these extras are worth it. But yeah, I love these. Absolutely love them. And I think that's it. Yes. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and we'll let you know when I put out these videos. You can have a look in the playlist and you'll see all the other things that I do. Reviews of films, TV series, bit of music as well thrown in. And if you like this particular video, then please give this video a like. Because then if you give it a like, it gets it out into YouTube and all that stuff. Algorithms and all that business. And it's really grand. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments and I'll always reply to them. And that's it. So all I've got to say is I'll see thee again.